What's up, my fam? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something I've been really excited to try out. Mining Monero using only a CPU. That's right, no fancy GPUs, no ASICs, just the good old central processing unit sitting in your PC. Monero is one of the few cryptocurrencies that's still CPU friendly, so I decided to put it to the test and see what it's like to mine it, using nothing but a standard CPU. If you've been curious about crypto mining but don't want to invest in expensive hardware, this video is for you. I'm going to walk you through my setup, share my experience, and break down whether CPU mining is still a viable option in 2024. So if you're ready to see what's possible with just a CPU, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and let's dive right in. Before we jump into the actual mining, let's talk about why I chose Monero and why I'm focusing on CPU mining. First off, Monero is a privacy-focused cryptocurrency that's known for its strong emphasis on anonymity. Unlike Bitcoin or Ethereum, where transactions are publicly visible on the blockchain, Monero uses advanced cryptographic techniques to ensure that your transactions are completely private. This makes it a popular choice for those who value privacy. But what really sets Monero apart is its RandomX mining algorithm, which is specifically designed to be ASIC resistant. That means Monero mining isn't dominated by expensive, specialized hardware like Bitcoin mining is. Instead, it's optimized for general-purpose CPUs, making it accessible to anyone with a decent computer. So why CPU mining? Well, most cryptocurrencies these days require powerful GPUs or ASICs to mine effectively, which can be a big investment. But with Monero, you can still mine using just your CPU. This opens up mining to a much wider audience, people who want to get into crypto mining without breaking the bank. Plus, it's a fun experiment to see how much you can actually earn with a basic setup. All right, let's get into the nuts and bolts of my setup. Here's what I use to mine Monero using only a CPU, hardware. For this experiment, I used a mid-range CPU, an AMD Ryzen 5 3600. This is a pretty standard CPU that you might find in a gaming or work-from-home PC. It's not the most powerful CPU out there, but it's more than capable of handling everyday tasks and light gaming. I wanted to see how it performs in a mining scenario. Pro tip: if you're planning to mine with your CPU, make sure it has a decent cooling system. Mining can push your CPU to its limits, and you don't want it overheating. I used a basic aftermarket cooler to keep things in check. Software. For the mining software, I went with XMRig. It's one of the most popular and efficient miners for Monero, and it's open source, which means it's constantly being updated by the community. XMRig is easy to set up, and it's highly customizable, so you can tweak the settings to get the best performance out of your hardware. Pro tip: when setting up XMRig, make sure to configure it to mine directly to a Monero pool. Solo mining with a CPU isn't really feasible unless you're just doing it for fun, so joining a pool increases your chances of earning consistent rewards. Pool. Speaking of pools, I joined Support XMR, one of the largest and most reliable Monero mining pools out there. Pools are essential for small-scale miners because they allow you to combine your hashing power with others, making it much more likely that you'll successfully mine a block. Pro tip: when choosing a pool, look for one with low fees and a good reputation. Support XMR charges a 0.6% fee, which is pretty reasonable, and they have a solid payout system. That's the setup. Pretty straightforward, and something you could easily replicate at home if you're curious about CPU mining. With everything set up, I started mining, and here's how it went. Initial performance. When I first fired up XMRig, my CPU utilization shot up to around 100%, which is expected. The Ryzen 5 3600 was hashing away at around 4,000 hashes per second. which is decent for a CPU of this caliber. The system stayed stable, and thanks to the aftermarket cooler, temperatures hovered around 70 degrees Celsius, which is within a safe range for sustained mining. Pro tip: keep an eye on your CPU temps when mining. If they start creeping up too high, you might need to dial back the intensity in the XMRig settings or improve your cooling. Payouts. After a few hours of mining, I started seeing small amounts of Monero trickle into my wallet. Since I was part of a pool, payouts were consistent but small. Nothing that's going to make me rich, but definitely a nice little reward for the effort. On average, I was earning a few cents worth of Monero every hour. Over the course of a week, this added up to around $1.50 worth of Monero. Pro tip: if your electricity costs are high, consider mining during off-peak hours when rates are lower, or explore renewable energy options if you're serious about long-term mining. Overall, the mining experience was smooth, but it's clear that CPU mining, while fun and accessible, isn't going to make you rich. However, it's a great way to get started in crypto mining without needing to invest in expensive hardware. So, after a week of mining Monero using only a CPU, the big question is it still worth it in 2024? Here's the deal: CPU mining Monero can be worth it, but it really depends on your goals. For learning and experimentation, if you're new to crypto mining or just want to learn how it works, CPU mining is a fantastic place to start. It's low cost, easy to set up, and gives you a hands-on experience with the process. Plus, it's a way to support the Monero network, which is important for the decentralization and security of the cryptocurrency. For long-term holding, if you're not worried about immediate profits and are more interested in accumulating Monero over the long term, CPU mining could be a fun and rewarding hobby. You're not going to earn much, but it's a way to slowly build up your holdings without spending a lot of money up front. For profit, if your goal is to make a significant profit, CPU mining is not the way to go in 2024. The earnings simply don't justify the electricity costs, especially with the increasing network difficulty. You'd be better off investing in a more powerful GPU setup or exploring other ways to earn crypto. For supporting Monero, even if the profits aren't huge, mining Monero with a CPU helps contribute to the network's security and decentralization. If you're a fan of Monero and its focus on privacy, CPU mining can be a way to give back to the community. In short, CPU mining Monero isn't going to make you rich, but it's definitely worth trying if you're interested in learning more about mining, supporting the Monero network, or just having some fun in the crypto space. So, what did I learn from this experiment? CPU mining is accessible. Anyone with a decent computer can get started with CPU mining. You don't need expensive hardware or a ton of technical knowledge, just a willingness to learn and experiment. Earnings are modest. Don't expect to make a lot of money with CPU mining, especially with current electricity costs. It's more about the experience and the long-term potential of the coins you mine. It's a great learning experience. Whether you're new to crypto or just curious about mining, CPU mining is a great way to get hands-on experience without a big investment. It's also a way to support projects like Monero that focus on privacy and decentralization. Consider your goals. If you're in it for the profit, CPU mining might not be for you. But if you're interested in learning, experimenting, and supporting the network, it's definitely worth trying. Overall, I had a lot of fun with this experiment, and I hope it gives you some insights into what CPU mining is like in 2024. If you're thinking about giving it a shot, go for it. But keep your expectations in check, and remember that the main reward might be the knowledge and experience you gain along the way. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Have you tried CPU mining? What was your experience like? Let's share tips and stories. Until next time, stay curious, stay mining, and keep exploring the world of crypto. Peace. If you haven't already done so, visit our website. You will find the link in the description.